Xavier and almost everybody saw this presentation. I will do it really quick. That presentation is about a year old, and it's more the journey of going, what it takes to do this as a living and getting stuff out and trying to help people. I did a lot of consulting in the last 1.5 years, like Lamachan, for example, that did, and Jose, and it is really hard to get a product out there. And I'm a single person, so I have no employees right now. So it's really tough journey to get into that kind of stuff, and I learned a lot doing that. But the goal of Xenial is basically everything I learned in the last 10 years of writing application for external customers and doing a lot of consulting. So the slogan is like, yeah, okay, Xenial, it's easy, it's flexible, it's focused, it should be adapted to all your needs. But it is hard to get into this point. So I don't want to make too much marketing floskels. It's more like, what do you need to get the job done, and what what matters when people write application software, especially in those niche markets. And it's hard because you have from business perspective, from small shops to large shops, you have all kind of problems, and sometimes the framework feels like it's getting into your way. And I worked with really small shops, and they were really happy with XAF. And the larger XAF grows, the harder it gets to manage with a larger set of team members and scale it up. And sometimes, or most of the times, when stuff starts to grow, I had the problem that it's hard to get together with the model editor, for example. You have merge conflicts, all the kind of stuff. XAF get way better in the last couple of years, but there's still a possible improvement. And there was the idea of Xenial born. It took a long time to implement that strategies and make them available to other developers. Okay, we have what does Xenial mean? It's a hospitality kind of thing. We're in Austria, so we like to be hostable and we like to help other people. But for me, it's like, get the job done and don't get in my way. It's like leading the developer and all the team into the right direction. Okay, so that's the slogan. It's easy, it's flexible, and it's focused. So you can expect that Xenial won't get into your way. Not now and not in the future. It just tries to help you as much as possible and don't get in your way. So that presentation was 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago. So my slides stopped there. So let's see how that actually can look like for today. And you can go to sorry, I'm not that well prepared today. Want to can I? Okay, I can move that to the other screen. Okay. So. Okay. So. It's not live right now. Not yet. 100%. I wanted to get it done until today, but I didn't. But that's the way life goes. With our pricing website, and it's not about the pricing and all the kind of stuff. It's you can inform your Xenial once Xenial. Once I'm done, I will tweet it. I will send it to you guys. But that's my last the project about the last couple of months, I guess. So you can look at some of the features. There's a lot of text that will be replaced, and I will go into some of them into more details. There's like the model builders. That's like a metadata framework based on the XAF. Excellent metadata stuff that's really, really handy. A lot of stuff under the hood you saw before uses this a lot, I guess. There is like a Flutter syntax for layouts, as well for list views and columns, and they get all together. So it's getting easier to write really, really platform agnostic UIs. And there's a lot of qualitative miraculous improvements on top of XAF that just makes the coding easier. Like lambda chart extensions, there's a lot of stuff that we have in similar. We sometimes solve a little stuff a little bit different, like the singleton stuff. And but the main thing is sometimes XAF feels a little bit clunky if you work on a team and you have a direction, and it's you have to go into a flow with your team and try to really make a difference in the quality of your product. Another topic is there's a lot of editors on the way, and there is one editor I want to. It's currently in the lab phase. It's the Webview 2 editor based on the Microsoft on the new Microsoft Edge browser. So it's easier to integrate web content. So, for example, with what Jose told earlier, there's a lot of stuff we can do in the future to support, for example, stuff like
Monaco.
Yeah, thank you. And there are a lot of UX extensions I did over the past couple of years. So when we go to my blog, for example, I'm blogging for a very, very long time. And for example, there was the it was I think it was the 13.3, like the Windows integration module. That's really, really hard to do in XAF, and do it on the right step, and getting those user experience capabilities into an XAF application. So that's the main focus about Xenial. Doing your stuff, you have that idea, and getting into the right direction without that stuff having to getting into your way. So that's all for the advertisement. But it's a single thing I want to show real quick. It's like where the road is going. So it's not sleeping. Even if I didn't release it yet, there's a lot of stuff that is in my head going around and helping other customers and getting it on the road. So there's one really important question that a lot of people ask me is like, will you support Xenial for web forms? So the classical XAF Win Web. And the answer is no. I am going to be the first one in the road that supports WinForms and Blazor. So I think in the first direction and in the first row to support you guys on getting the best user experience out for the new way, for getting into the Blazor way of doing things, helping you transition into the next century or the next .NET kind of phase. So I really try to help you and have both platforms in parallel. So we had in the last 10 years, WinForms and WebForms was like kind of comparison equal, and I tried to do the same thing with Blazor and WinForms. Why WinForms? WinForms won't die. Not quickly. It will not die. It is a great platform. It's a great opportunity, and it just works for all that kind of business applications hundreds of thousands of people rely on. And Blazor, on the other hand, is like the smaller brother that can really get momentum if we want to support Blazor, mobile phones, tablets, web stuff, and so on and so forth. Okay.
Well, do you have documentation for all of this? And if so, can you post it in the chat?
Yeah, the thing is, okay, we have like, we have right now feature center the framework.io. I will post it real quick in the chat. It is an interactive documentation. If I find my chat, where it is, no. Jose, can you help me out and post my link on the chat? I don't find the chat window.
Okay, I will look for the link and post it in the chat.
There it is. I have it on my other screen. So that's just that's a feature center that's designed to be a living documentation, and it's built upon all kind of stuff. It is not complete because I focus on the editors first because I think they are more the most valuable. But you also can download the WinForms demo, and I will do that right now. So it's taking a couple of seconds, and show it in folder. I have prepared it, but of course I haven't prepared it. So I'm just extract it here real quick. Okay, so let's do a real quick comparison between the Blazor feature center. So you sometimes are not some editors or some stuff isn't supported because DevExpress doesn't support it yet. But some stuff is designed to be just equally it's platform unagnostic, so it doesn't matter where you run it. And if we have a quick comparison between Blazor and the editors, it, besides the step progress editors that aren't supported, are using the native dev express controls. But those are only the visual components. So I hope you get the point there where I'm trying to maneuver with the new stuff from the editor's perspective. But now we have the model builders and the layout builders, and those are the most interesting parts of the whole stuff, because everybody can write an editor and do the kind of stuff. Okay, we have the batches, like the alpha here and the lab stuff. And here, so it is supported. But those are visual clues to the user, but it's really, really hard to implement sometimes that kind of stuff in an XAF application. So you don't have to matter about that. Show a notification for a new mail or for a new sale or for a new invoice. That's the batch stuff. You can do whatever you want in that perspective. If I find my mouse back, we can look a little bit about the code about the model editors. And the model editors are really, really the neat thing. Model editors, the model. How's it called? Model builders. So it's like a it's a way to describe your the metadata for your XAF object or your business objects or your domain objects in code. So the neat thing about doing this is you can use constants, you can use if then else statements and stuff like this. Can you guys read that, or is it too small?
It's good, Manuel. I think it's
it's good. Okay. The thing is, normally you have like 10, 20, 30, 50 attributes on your business classes. And that's fine. Sometimes it's really, really good to have everything in one place, and sometimes it's not. And if your team grows and your application complexity grows, it can be a really, really reliever to have something you can control in code. The thing is, we're looking right now at that feature center. So we are looking at that code right here. And that is exactly the demo. So I'm looking at the model builder file. It's a naming convention that I just called it batches introduction demo model builder.cs, but it's just a class that derives from model builder, for example, that is type of batches introduction demo. What is basically this kind of this business object. And those attributes normally are described as caption attribute, image name attribute, default class options attribute. And now we have two additional methods we call that add another attributes to the type system. Basically, the XAF type system works like, okay, we analyze all your code, and then we collect all the attributes together, all the information, all the type system, all properties, all methods, and we collect them all together. And then we can add and remove attributes at runtime. And that also means we can do a lot of stuff with adding and removing attributes at runtime. So maybe we want to change that text. That's a bad example, but we want to change the text for a customer name, for example. So we have if that customer is X or is Y, for example. It's a little bit hard to describe here. I will get into this in a little bit detail, but for example, you also can apply that not only to the class, all of that stuff is at class level. We also can do that at property level. So let me show real quick. I have a mail client right here. And this is really a mail client with my real emails. So I hope I don't breach anything.
So Manuel, in the meantime, when you're loading that, so that means that you can have a class without any decoration, and you can implement it in a different way in two applications because you do the decorations in runtime in general.
Exactly, exactly. It doesn't have to be in the same assembly, and you don't even have to load XAF in the. You don't have to use the XAF.
Yeah, because
reference.
Sometimes we do a lot of Xamarin application. Well, a big part of business is Xamarin applications. So sometimes
for example,
we want to include the decorations from XAF into the Xamarin application. So I just wanted to keep it for XAF. So I usually use reflection to include our attributes, but it's a little bit cumbersome because I want my models to be just models without any decoration, so I can implement it in a different way in maybe the same application or in different applications, right? So I think this is a really neat approach because you leave your model as model, actually.
The thing is, there are some restrictions, for example, but maybe we can work out with the XAF team. It's like the domain component attribute is a good example. Sometimes they respect it and sometimes they don't. But most of the time, it's working like in Entity Framework. If anybody works with Entity Framework, you can alter your metadata all the time, but this is not for the tables and infrastructure and the relationships. This is about the whole XAF infrastructure. So if you look here in my demo right here, it's my real email, and this is describing more or less my, this is like a mail, the mail list view. So it's a mail model builder, and it's like date from blah, and we have all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of stuff here, and it isn't working. I can't change anything. But if you look at my mail class, it is really, really just the XPO data. Okay, I have included the rules for the validation module. There is a validation module coming for the model builder later. I have that in place for many, many years, but it didn't make the cut for today. But everything else is just XPO code. So there's nothing XAF specific here besides that action. So that's XPO only. Nothing, no attributes. There's there are no special navigation item attributes, something like this. It's just the mail class. And now I have a mod.
Sorry, Manuel. We're in a part setting the ports and the authentication model. Port.
I didn't get a question. What was the question? What is about security and authentication? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Fernando, you're on mute. So if you want to do the question, you can ask or you can write it on the chat.
Sí. Sorry, Manuel. My sound problem. In this part, the business class, you're setting the port, port number incoming and O, port number for O and input. Example, 110, 587 port, no? And model authentication. What is the parameter in the class?
I don't get your question 100%.
Fernando, if you want, you can send me a direct message on Spanish, and I will put the question for everyone here in the conference. Like, why don't you send me a direct message?
I'm sorry,
What is the field? What is the field for setting the port and the authentication model? Settings port for communication.
That's for example, that's a direct database communication. That's not related. If that gets a question.
I think that Fernando means like he's asking about the SMTP class, like for the mail client in general. So
I am that is part of my presentation, but I am using MailKit at MineKit, and it's just using standard open source libraries for that kind of stuff.
Great.
Yeah. So if you have questions about that, leave me a message or an email. But it's about the model builders right now. So okay, that's a neat thing. Okay, we can do that in code. We also can get, and I did that before. We can get that from another database, for example, like from a configuration database or stuff like this. So we are in code. So we are not we aren't in the need to do that as a constant, and we don't have to do the hiccup and okay, we need to change that or change that. We can just read it here and do like mail plus. Okay, let's change our caption from mail to mail plus random. I know we don't do random, but and don't do plus, but the random next bytes. Okay, let's stop real quick. No, that's the system math random. No, where's random? Jose, random. There it is. New random next. Let's take 0 and 100, just to show the case. So we can do anything we want in code.
Manuel, I have a question, and is that if I'm not using XPO, well, I'm using XPO all the time, but let's say that you have a different library. So this approach will work for anything that is .NET, or is a special case for XAF and XPO?
It's a special case for XAF. If you use it with XAF, I will show it. It's not XPO only. It works with any XAF project. But it is XAF only. But if you can see here, now it's mail 75.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically we changed that to a random number, but we have to restart the application, or at least to reread the metadata. And that is a critical part besides all the kind of stuff that's inside of XAF, because it's reading your metadata and then it generates the model layer after that. So I still can do edit model. And if my model editor goes up onto the right window, you can see it didn't change anything about the model class.
So it's actually not updating the model, it's just changing the value in runtime.
It's before.
Ah.
It's before. So every stuff you do is like that stuff we put into the model editor or in the model builder is like before even model gets generated. And that's the idea. So I can still go here and say mail if I can type mail with model builders are awesome. If I can type, but I can't, so it's fine. So, but it still works, and you get every benefit you have from XAF. But you have one additional layer where you can inject code. Okay, so
Great.
But that would be kind of lame. But you also can do like conventional stuff. And that's really, really, I think, the really, really neat thing. In my demo, no fields are editable by default.
Mm-hmm. So you want to change it to make it editable, like just in this case, like with the model builder.
Yeah. For there's one really, really, really big thing. There is a XAF right here, and I will open it with an XML editor, and it's empty. There is no model at all in my whole application. No model editor, nothing. So I am going to do all that kind of stuff in code, and everything is purely defined by conventions and attributes. So, and nothing of these classes are editable. There's no security in place. There's nothing in general. It's just there's a convention here. I can say for properties, not allowing edit, as I did if I right here. So I'm applying an attribute to every single class, every member of that class. So basically, it's doing. Don't look at the code. There's a lot of stuff, but basically, what I'm doing is like for our properties, with attributes, and then
Manuel, the studio is running, so maybe you should stop it to get a better autocomplete and IntelliSense.
Yeah. So for all properties, I'm going to apply the model default. New model default attribute, and I think it's allow edit force. Okay, so let's run that again. So you can think about it that you're iterating over all of the properties and adding that attribute to every single line of code.
I really like that approach because I like my models to stay clean.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're doing like, I mean, it's getting
and
hard.
it's still doing the same thing. But if I do remove that, it should be editable. And it is, okay? So basically it's like, it allows you to write your own DSL about your data types. But the really neat thing is if you combine it really with data types. For example, I have here that that model about 4 properties of type. And I'm applying a special attribute to a display format attribute to all properties that have the type date time. Mm-hmm. So for example,
that's really neat actually.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
I like that like set all properties to some and apply an attribute to all of them at the same time. That is a time saver.
I don't have any idea right now. What's a date formatter? F is a date formatter. I have no idea. F, small f, I guess. This full time. I have no idea. So let's check.
Yeah,
real quick.
I always have to Google the format the string and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. That's the only thing I'm working right now to get the refactorings in here. So it's date, time, formatting. But the neat thing is I can show you a quick hint on
Yeah,
this.
you have
So,
the time there.
yeah, here it is. So, but the neat thing is you don't have to do that all the time. You don't have to remember all that kind of stuff because your application should be unique and should be uniformed in most of the places. Sometimes you have to split, but 90% or 95 or 99% of the time, formatting should be the same, at least for dates and currencies and stuff like this. So I really quickly show you how to, you can remove those, because this is designed to be extendable. So we can do like for, not that small for the property, I name date, message date, has display format, okay? And you can see there's a property builder of date, time, mail, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So don't be afraid about this huge number of shit. There will be a lot of guidance about doing that stuff, but basically what we are doing is we're writing an extension method for
the Fluent API, right? That's basically the
Fluent API. And it's called class my date conventions. And I am just copying and pasting this the method, the API body. And we're getting the T of T, and we have the T of T, and we can call it that has display time, has my date format. We have the I property builder of T property, and there's all like kind of stuff. And there's the display format, and we don't need that because we specified that earlier. And now everything we have to do is we take the builder and return builder dot has display format or any other attribute. So you can say has with attribute, and they can deploy your own, but we go for has display format. And now we say it's 0, and we say no, y. I think it's mmdd, I guess. And I'm just using this. And now I need a semicolon, and now I can use that format everywhere.
Oh, nice.
So I have no floating strings, I have no constants, and the neat thing, it works for every, and as you can see, it is wrong because there's no y, but you get the point.
Manuel, one question. Do you have documentation for this part of Xenial? Because if not, I think that you will get you will get some volunteers in the chat. I mean, because everyone is loving this feature. And I think that is really neat because I like to have separated to actual implementation. So in the end, you can like
you can define multiple properties, and that's a thing. That's the neat thing about model builders. There is documentation about model builders, and I just need to have to open a window that is opening on the right screen. So let's open a new window and I go here. I blogged about this archive model builders. Here, there's all the technical details about how it's implemented. There isn't a definitive documentation about this right now, but you can go just to
why don't you share that link on the chat for everyone to have it?
Sure. Let me put that here real quick and put the other one as well. I would love to hear your feedback on Xenial.io Xenial framework. Everything is open source. You saw today, right now, and it is open source. It's not free, but it's open source. But that's the best documentation I have for the non-code samples. So, but the most part is best documented in the demos, how I use them and stuff like this. But just leave me an issue here, ask questions, I love to get feedback from you. Currently, you can, the installation process is also documented on the demo page. So there was framework.xenial.io, so framework Xenial Feature Center. So it normally drives you step through every process, how to, what you have to do, like you normally have to do, but it's more code centric. You can use it. I have two or three users that are using it with a normal XAF kind of way with designers and stuff, but I don't recommend it because I don't test it. I'm just getting to one small little thing, and that's the model builders. Basically, every feature is designed about, you can pick and choose what kind of feature you want to use in your inside your application. You can go the normal route and just add the module and you're good to go and you get everything. But as like Dave's modules, it's like the minimal inversive feature that you can have, because you have to opt into it. And everything is like designed about to be opt into it, or you get everything, or small features, slices in between. So if you can look at the usage, for example, you can. This is the minimal with the model builder, with the attribute approach, like you would, for example, in a normal XAF way. Then you have the model builder stuff that tells you how you can use it in code. And you also have a GIF that tells you how you would use that feature in a normal XAF way, how you are used to do it right now. So you have all the flexibility between really low code approach, like the model editor stuff, or you get all the way down to attributes, or you may try out the model builder feature. So you have all the choice in between.
Great.
And that's the thing about Xenial. You can pick and choose what you like about the feature, what you don't like about the feature, and that's just the beginning. So that's all based around the model builder stuff and everything XAF provides. And play around with it. Help and feedback. You can ask me all the time about this. I'm not 100% sure when it go to sale, but it won't be free. But it is. If I can go back on my pricing page, it's not online right now. It is like normally priced. You have a normal subscription license. You can pay on rolling. If you're a company or an enterprise and you need more support, you can go into very, I have to say, very expensive deals. But the main difference between all the kind of editions is like, what kind of DevExpress support versions do I need to support? The more they are getting, the harder it gets. That's why the enterprise version is so expensive, because you can pick and choose for 3 or 4 years a DevExpress license I will support, but you can pick and choose and get individual components. So if you don't need anything and you just want the model builder stuff, it's $10 per month, and you get all the components. And we didn't even talk about the layout builders.
Yeah, one question, Manuel, is that for the runtime or for the design time? What will happen with the runtime once I compile my application?
Yeah, very good question. You can do whatever you want with the runtime. It's just a developer seat license. And you can, if you buy the license, it will be checked against the compile date of Xenial. So you can use it all the time, but for forever you like, for hundreds of years into the future. But if I release a new version with new DevExpress version support, then you have to renew the subscription.
So it's a perpetual license in the end. It's not a subscription, it's a perpetual license.
It's tied. No, it's not really a perpetual license.
I mean, for the versions that are supported for your, I mean, if you get one license today for 1 year, all of those.
If you buy that $10 license, it will be supported forever. But if I release a new version next month, you don't get access to the new version, and you don't get access to the new DevExpress version. So if you want to be on track with the DevExpress version, you can just buy a license and then unsubscribe. And then if you decide to buy up to the next DevExpress version, for example, you are right now on 22.3, for example, and then you have like 6 months where you're working, or 8 months, and then you decide, okay, now I want to switch to 21.2, for example, and buy another one. Then you can use everything before it, but the time where you compile and it stays working. But if I release a new version and you want a new version, you have to update your subscription. I hope that it makes sense. And you can pick and choose. So it's for everybody. It's the $50 per month isn't that much of a deal. I know it's not nothing, of course. But you get free support, you get CI/CD versions, and there's a lot of stuff you didn't even see in the package. Okay, so, and the next time there will be the layout builders, because
I think we can do a Twitch, like a live Twitch, one of the during the week. So also, I will be glad that to show that to the Spanish community. So I will do a Spanish demo. I will work on that with you. And well, guys, that will be everything for this stand-up.